Welcome to another edition of The Word on Woodward. I'm your host, Daniella alongside my co-host, Art Regner, and joining us today, Red Wings forward Vladislav Namestnikov. Vlad, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We know you're out in California. You could be enjoying the beautiful weather, but instead you're hanging out with me and Art, so that means a lot.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. And we'll kick this off just starting about the year that you've had so far this season. You have 18 points in 36 games thus far. Last season, you had 17 points in 53 games played. So it really seems like something's clicking for you this year. What exactly is it?
I don't know. I think I'm playing my game that I always play. I mean, last year was a bit, off for me. I wasn't happy with the way I was playing, and that whole pandemic situation was kind of just, puts you in a weird mood. But this year, I think I'm more comfortable. I'm more comfortable around the room and playing with confidence. So I just got to keep it up and help the team as much as I can.
I think everybody's looking at you, and they do know that you're out in California, and you're a rather fair-skinned young man. Do you use sunscreen when you're out there? When you're out there on the beach or walking around and shopping, or do you burn easily, I guess is what I'm asking.
I actually never use sunscreen. I do burn a little bit, but I think it turns into a tan, so I never use sunscreen.
No, never. Even how about in Tampa? I mean, didn't you use sunscreen down there?
No, never really. I mean, maybe sometimes a little bit on the beach, but other than that, I never. If I go somewhere, I never put sunscreen on.
Well, I'll ask you another hockey question now that we've covered your sun tanning habits. But so you're doing well this season, and you've been a very versatile player for the Red Wings, kind of played on every single line with a different mix of players. What do you think that says about your game? And is that comfortable for you? Is it hard to play with new line mates?
I think it's a little bit of adjustment, the first couple of shifts. But as you said, I've played with everyone this year. I think the line changes quite a bit, so I'm comfortable playing in any position and with any player on the team. So, wherever the coach decides to use me, I'll be happy to fill in and do my best.
The one thing that I've always liked about you, and I have followed your career from day one, believe it or not, because I've followed Steve's career from day one too, even when he was Tampa's general manager, and I know he drafted you, is that your versatility. And I don't mean this in a negative way, but do you think that you're so versatile, you can play all three forward positions, you can play on all four lines, you can kill penalties, you can play on the power play, that in a way, it almost hurts you in your development as a complete player, because it's like, oh, well, Namestnikov can do that. Namestnikov can do that. Okay, yeah, you're on the first line today, but we need somebody on the fourth line. Namestnikov, you go there. I mean, do you feel like you're a yo-yo, I guess, sometimes?
I don't know. I try not to think it that way. I mean, whatever, will help the team, I think I'll do it. So, as I said, wherever the coach sees me, wherever he puts me, I'll gladly fill in that role and wherever, what line. So, my mentality is, go out there and help the team.
You have a lot of connections to the city of Detroit, one of them obviously being your uncle, Slava, who played for the Red Wings back in the day. And I'm just wondering what your relationship is like with him. And do you still talk to him regularly? Because he has to be pretty excited to be able to watch you wearing the Red Wings jersey.
Yeah, when I signed here, he was extremely happy. We text quite a bit. He's over in Russia coaching right now, so it's probably hard for him to watch the games, but yeah, we stay in contact. We message each other, and it's his support means a lot, and he's a huge part of my hockey career for sure.
There seems to be some sort of connection with you in Detroit. I know you live here in the off season, but I guess my point is when you were growing up as a little boy, and you walk in and there's Steve Yzerman. That room was just full of Hall of Famers, one of the iconic Detroit professional teams of all time your uncle played on. Do you look at that back then and can you say, boy, I can't believe it, especially when the Russian Five revolutionized the game?
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny you asked that. I just rewatched the Russian Five movie that just came out, and you kind of get a sense of what the Russian Five did for all those Russian guys back in the USSR, and what they've done, and it just opened all the doors for everyone else. So it's obviously pretty cool that my uncle's part of that Russian Five, but also, as you said, Steve Eiserman. I remember meeting Holmstrom and all those guys. So it was awesome experience, and I think that pushed me and made me want to be a hockey player even more.
Did Steve ever tell you when you were a little boy, did he ever pull you aside, and he's the captain of the Red Wings, and go, look, I'm going to draft you someday. If you're half the player your uncle is. No, I don't mean it quite like that, but did you ever get this inkling that you would have a relationship with Steve Eiserman well into your adulthood life?
I don't know. I don't really know how to answer that question. I feel like it's just like any other player GM relationship. I mean, as you said, he's drafted me and re-signed me here in Detroit. So, obviously there's some sort of connection, but, I'm obviously thankful for, what he's done for me, and hopefully we can, continue this relationship and continue our, paths together.
So you were a Wings fan, obviously, growing up. You were around the locker room a lot. Was there any player that you were just a huge fan of or in awe of as a little kid?
I think it was just the Russian Five, obviously, my uncle. I just liked the style they played, and it just, every time, they were on the ice together, just magic happening. And I think that's, was pretty special. And I grew up watching that. So I think probably them.
I might have mixed my teams up. Your younger brother plays for Sarnia, right? Max is,
yes.
Yeah. So, but I know you came back and played here in the OHL too. But what I'm kind of curious about, have you given him any advice about playing here? Because he lists Wolverine Lake as his hometown. So I would assume that, did he grow up in Michigan his whole life, or was he in Russia a little while too? And then you all kind of came back together.
He was actually born in America and then moved back to Russia and grew up there and then came back here. So he's a little bit different than me, but he had to learn English when he came back, and it was kind of a adjustment for him. And but other than that, the advice I can just give him is just be yourself. Just be your own player, and try your best. I guess that's the biggest advice I can give him. I mean, he's playing in Sarnia right now. He's he missed all last year with the pandemic, couldn't play, so that kind of hurt a little bit. But he's happy to be back playing now, and he's trying his best.
Right, you played for London. I know that, the London Knights.
Yep.
Art is everything.
No. I when I said Sarnia, I knew that was wrong, and I think, wait a second, that's his brother, but we've corrected it.
Yeah, good work.
London,
good work.
A proud London Knight.
Do you get to see your brother? Like, I know that the border situation right now is strange with COVID and everything. Crossing the border is hard, but it's really close to Detroit. So do you ever get to go see his games? Does he get to come to Detroit and see you?
I actually went to watch his preseason games because we haven't started yet, and they were playing preseason. But whenever he's playing in Flint and Saginaw, we're always on the road, so I couldn't get to see him yet. But and for him, it's hard crossing the border because Canada's really strict right now, so he can't come watch our games. So it's been pretty tough that way. But I always when I have time, I have the app and I watch it online. So I'm watching it that way.
Your whole family plays hockey. Your two uncles, your dad, everybody is a hockey player. Did you ever have any choice did you ever walk in the house one day and say, yeah, it's cool, we're all hockey players, but, I want to be a chef, or, I want to be a mathematician, or I don't want to be a hockey player, or were you always just geared? Are you doing exactly what you've always wanted to do?
Actually, no, I actually hated it at first, and my mom forced me into it. She threw me into the car in the morning, and those early practices, she would throw me in the car and drive me. But at first, I hated it. But as I got older, now I realize, I love this game, and thanks to my mom and dad that they forced me into it.
All right. Well, last question from me, and I promise you, Art is not going to rifle off 500 more questions after this
No,
because he did.
no. I've got only like 16. 16
Oh,
more.
Perfect. All right. Anyway, so my last question for you. Obviously, this Red Wings team has been really exciting to watch this year with the young talent coming in. You guys seem to be finding your way and turning things around for the program. And 2 points out of a playoff spot right now. Boston is in that final wild card spot. You guys are just behind them. Is there playoff talks in the locker room? Like, are you guys pushing? Do you obviously you want to make the playoffs, but what is that mood like? And is everybody hoping that's what's going to happen?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think there's isn't a guy in the room that doesn't want to be in the playoffs. So we go out there, we play to win, and we have our ups and downs, but we're learning from it, and from each game we're learning more and more, and um, I think we do a lot of video and learn on our mistakes, and I think there's still half a season left and still lots of game, and I think for sure we want to be in a playoff team, and we're going to go out there and compete every game.
When you fought Marchand recently here at Little Caesars Arena and you skated to the penalty box, did you actually hear 30 other NHL cities chanting your name as you fought him? Because let's face it, he's the least, the fans were booing him at Little Caesars Arena every time he touched the puck.
It kind of just happened. We were slashing each other, and then all of a sudden we were, the gloves were dropped. So it just kind of happens, and kind of black out. And just when you're fighting, it's just emotions and everything. So I didn't even know at first that it was him. So later on, all the messages on social media, everyone happy about it. So yeah, it was just funny.
This second half of the schedule, and this is the last question, is going to be brutal for you fellas, just because you're playing like virtually every other day. I know you have this 2-week break in February, but no Olympics anymore. First of all, if you weren't part of Team Russia, did you have a vacation already planned? Did you have to, were you going back to Disney World for a couple of weeks, and now all of a sudden you're going to be playing hockey? Has that really done it, or do you look at that based on how compact the schedule is before and after that Olympic break? You guys might need that maybe 2 weeks to play maybe 3 games or something, a light part of your schedule, because it is pretty brutal here, the way that this schedule is going to play itself out.
Yeah, for sure. And with all the missed games, I don't know where they're gonna put those games in. So we're probably gonna be playing every other day for the rest of the year. So it's gonna be tough, but at the same time, everyone's in the same position. So we have to go out there and get the win. Ultimately, that's all we can do right now is focus one game at a time and just do that.
Is it more of a physical or mental grind when you have that many games?
I think it's both.
So sometimes you feel like playing and your mind says no, and other times your mind feels like playing and your body says no. I mean, is that really trying to get in sync? Like body and mind, let's be on the same page. How often does that happen when you're playing a grueling schedule?
It happens, but as I said, everyone's on the same page, or not on the same page, on the same boat. So you have to manage it and go out there and somehow perform. So it's going to be a crazy schedule here, but we gotta focus and be good.
Thank you so much for taking the time to join us, Vlad. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me again.
And that does it for this edition of The Word on Woodward. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.